Society. I'm very excited to have all of us here today, and to have those that are not members join us for our poetry slam. This is one of the rare events where we have all NEHS members together. Traditionally, only our induction and our farewell we all get together. But today is a day to celebrate English language and literature. And to do so, we're going to be looking and listening at some poems. I say looking because we have some booklets at the end for you to actually see the poems. But for now, we want to hear them and see them. I want to begin with the serious part, which is why we are here. So all NEHS members, please stand. Hold your piece of paper in front of you on the back. Reminded to you of why we are here. We are here because we have a certain belief, a motto. Are we ready? Go. Which means duty goes on. Take a seat. It is our duty today to share our gifts. So let's change it to serious and playful. Please take it over, Cindy.
All right. So this is a fun event. So the way, yeah. So after every person presents, you can do the traditional snap, although I know some of you can't really get that. So we can also clap. Feel free to shout, scream, just cheer on everybody who goes. It's a fun day. Also just a really quick, how this is gonna work. Presenters, you'll come up, Eliza will announce you. Once you're done, you can go over to this table. We have candy for the students, and we have a pen for all the teachers. So, and you can also get a booklet with all of the poems. So yeah, take it over, Eliza. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Langley High School's Poetry Slam. Woo! The National English Honor Society is so excited to have everybody here. This is truly a celebration of literature and perspective, and we have so many amazing students and faculty who are so wonderfully willing to share their poems with the entire group and with our school. So, to start off. Oh, yes, so thank you guys, first of all, for those who wore your blue shirts, who got the email. Thank you so much.
Blue shirts!
Woo! Blue shirts. In the back, you are free to sit down if you want. Yeah, please, you can sit in the aisle. Yes, we do that for having all stand. Also, as you leave, if you are coming and that will check you and make sure you have everything. So that will come at the end. Get a cupcake, get a QR code at the end. Yes. And so, with that, to begin, I will be reading a poem. The slam poem is called Hope is the Thing. And it is based off of, partially off of Emily Dickinson's famous poem, Hope is the Thing with Others. So we'll get a round of applause. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. I met her in the summer, and I loved her by next fall. The sweetest in the gale is heard, her voice would sing a song. And in 3 sweet side street bicycle riding bare feet summers, she was gone. How dare you? How unfair of you. Why should I even care that you left me in a million ways? I mean, we were blessed with scraped knees from climbing trees, elementary love, and monkey bar dreams. From the days we played dazed and dazzled by the craziness of the heat to now, there's been a paradigm shift in the way I look into your brown eyes. Because on those days, the haze of the mist dissipating from the heat made me think that if eyes were windows to the soul, then you must be as precious as gold, because that is how they look. Like gold, with rings like little tree trunks. Unfortunately, gold is at an all-time high. We scream in bright green forest to a Chlorian sky. You were always more daring, more mischievous than I, stealing purple pens, glances, paints, and why? You only looked that great in the honeysuckle sun. You'd eat petals off the vine and beg me like Eve to run. The whole state of Virginia would hide from us. two girls looking for trouble, or at least she was. I've heard it in the chillest lands, and in my head it rings and rings. But what was I searching for in all extremity? What? Hope is the thing. And next up, reading Revolutionary Letter number 1 is Mr. Jackson.
So actually I have two poems to read. The first is Revolutionary Letter number 1 by Diane diPrima. She's a feminist poet born in 1934. Writes in sort of a stream of consciousness way. And the second poem is written by a former Langley student. So one of my students and also a student of some other teachers who've been here. He graduated in 2008. He's currently administrator of academic programs at the Institute of Fine Arts at NYU. After he left here, he went on to UVA. He and his wife both graduated from here. And he's a surrealist poet who's been published in a number of relatively small publications. But anyway, he introduced me to the first poem that I'm going to read by Diane diPrima. And then in our conversations, I asked if I could read one of his poems. And he said, if I felt that it was fitting of the occasion, he would be honored. So I wanted to read one of his entitled Short Film on the History of Nations in Progress. And his name is Conley Lowrance. So first up, Revolutionary Letter number 1. I have just realized that the stakes are myself. I have no other ransom money, nothing to break or barter but my life. My spirit measured out in bits, spread over the roulette table. I recoup what I can. Nothing else to shove under the nose of the maitre d'hotel. Nothing to thrust out the window, no white flag. This flesh, all I have to offer, to make the play with. This immediate head, what it comes up with, my move. As we slither over this go-board, stepping always, we hope, between the lines. Short film on the history of nations in progress. Keep in mind, surrealist poetry. A camera pans across the mouths, each mouth an oil slick, speaking into one another. It is perfectly natural to speak, you might say. The camera nods vigorously. It is perfectly natural for the telephone to wait for you by the door, to kiss you on the cheek when you return. The scene changes. Sunday arrives like tousled hair. The camera is attentive now, like a child. Watch. The mouths are socializing, gesturing. One hands another a flute of champagne. One mouth hurls itself through the nearby window and hits the ground below. Who cares? We've made a lot of money from these mouths, you might say, and the camera eagerly nods in agreement. And money is like skin. Skin, the largest organ. 22 square feet of skin. Money, like skin, must be kept clean. The camera falls out of focus, returns. The mouths have been replaced by a stack of photographs. They wait on an empty table in the middle of an empty room. Your hand leaps through them, each portrait more illegible than the last. Stranger, stranger, an actress, another stranger. The camera watches as you set them down and walk away. Scene. Off screen, the camera, dutifully, takes the discarded photographs and sets them on fire.
And next up is Mr.
Remember the 1340s? We were all doing a dance called the catapult. You always wore brown, the color craze of the decade, and I was draped in one of those capes that were fashionable, the ones with the unicorns and pomegranates and the needlework. Everyone would pause for beer and onions in the afternoon. And at night, we'd all play a game called Find the Cow. Everything was hand-lettered then, not like today. The summer of 1572 will never come again. Childhood was big. Brocade and sonnet marathons were all the rage. We used to dress up in the flags of rival bearings and conquer each other. On the dance floor, we were all doing the struggle, while your sister practiced the Daphne, all alone in her room. We borrowed the jargon of farriers for our slang. These days, language seems so transparent, a badly broken code. The 1790s will never come again. Childhood was really big. People would walk to the very tops of hills and write down everything that they saw in their journals without talking. Our collars were high and our hats extremely soft. We used to surprise each other with letters of the alphabet made out of twigs. It was a wonderful time to be alive, or even dead. I am very fond of the period between 1815 and 1821. Europe trembled while we sat still for our portraits. And I'd go back to 1901 if only for a moment. Time enough to wind up a music box and do a few dance steps. Or zip me back to 1922 or 1941, or at least let me recapture a few moments from last month, when we were picking berries and gliding through the afternoon in our canoe. Even this morning would be an improvement over the present. I was in the garden, surrounded by the hum of bees and the Latin names of flowers, watching the early light flash off the slanted windows of the greenhouse and silver the limbs on the rows of the darkened hemlock. As usual, I was thinking about the past, letting its moments wash over me, the way water washes over stones at the bottom of a stream. And I was even thinking a little about the future, a place whose people are doing a dance we can only imagine, a dance whose name we can only guess. Thank you.
Next up, we have Coach Lamb with Waiting Room.
So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Coach Lamb. For those of you that do, you probably think I'm lost. The only reason I'm here is because my high school English teacher from Herndon High School promised you would show up today if I did this, so thank you, Ms. Chair, for showing up. Just a little perspective on this poem. It's written by a gentleman called Mackaye. He started a punk band back in the early 90s called Minor Threat, would later go on to form a band called Fugazi. And in those times, they were looked down upon. Obviously, people saw them as gutter punks, alcoholics, drug addicts. They had strong political ideas and feelings, but didn't really have the motivation. So this poem to me is kind of avoiding that self-fulfilling prophecy and not allowing people to kind of put you in a metaphorical prison where they have this false perspective of what you are and what you should be, and that starts to dictate your actions, and then making that false warped sense of perspective of what you should be because you associate with a group, letting that become your reality. So this is a waiting room. I am a patient boy. I wait, I wait, I wait, I wait. My time is like water down a drain. Everybody's moving. Everybody's moving. Everybody's moving, 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 moving. Please don't leave me to remain. I'm in the waiting room. I don't want the news. I cannot use it. I don't want the news. I won't live by it. Sitting outside of town, Everybody's always down. Tell me why. Because they can't get up. Come on and get up. Come on and get up. But I don't sit idly by. I'm planning a big surprise. I'm going to fight for what I want to be. And I won't make the same mistakes because I know how much time that wastes. And function is the key. I'm in the waiting room. I don't want the news. I cannot use it. I don't want the news. I won't live by it. Sitting outside of town, everybody's always down. Tell me why. Because they can't get up. Come on and get up. I'm in the waiting room. Sitting in the waiting room. Sitting in the waiting room. Sitting in the waiting room. Tell me why. Because they can't get up.
Hear, hear.
Now with Hanna, with Fire the Driftwoods.
All right, this poem is by Henry Longfellow, and it deals with the last meeting of a group of friends, which I thought, since a lot of us are seniors, was somewhat applicable. We sat within the farmhouse old, whose windows, looking o'er the bay, gave to the sea breeze damp and cold an easy entrance, night and day. Not far away we saw the port, the strange, old-fashioned, silent town, the lighthouse, the dismantled fort, the wooden houses, quaint and brown. We sat and talked until the night, descending, filled the little room. Our voices faded from the sight, our voices only broke the gloom. We spake of many a vanished scene, of what we had once thought and said, of what had been and might have been, and who was changed and who was dead. And all that fills the hearts of friends, when first they feel, with secret pain, their lives thenceforth have separate ends, and can never be one again. The first slight swerving of the heart, that words are powerless to express, and leave it still unsaid in part, or say in too great excess. The very tones in which we spake had something strange I could but mark. The leaves of memory seemed to make a mournful rustling in the dark. Oft died the words upon our lips, as suddenly from out the fire built of the wreck of stranded ships, the flames would leap and then expire. And as their splendor flashed and failed, we thought of wrecks upon the main, of ships dismantled that were hailed, and sent no answer back again. The windows, rattling in their frames, the ocean, roaring up the beach, the gusty blast, the bickering flames, all mingled vaguely in our speech, until they made themselves a part of fancies floating through the brain, the long-lost ventures of the heart that sent no answers back again. O flames that glowed, O hearts that yearned, there were indeed too much akin, the driftwood fire without that burned, the thoughts that burned and glowed with it.
And now we have Miss Cohen with an original called Fog.
Thank you. Last year I chose a wonderful poet, and it's so nice to do someone else's words. But this year I felt obligated to come up with something from myself, and this is what I came up with. It did sort of occur, and then it didn't occur, and now it's through a couple of editings, 8, and it's still being edited. So I hope you enjoy a little experience from my own life. Fog. Once upon a time, just the other day, I was engulfed in fog. Oh, and not the light, sexy, misty, dewy drops that one skin type of fog. Not the mysterious, when will Mr. Darcy walk through the fog type of fog. Not the quickly disappearing fog that only light takes on. It is the dense, bilious nature, argumentative, I can see, No! I cannot see! What is that? That is not seeing. Oh, and so thick. Move over. I'm taking over. Okay. Can you see through me? Bilious. No. I cannot see through you. Voluminous in nature, that also visible stratus cloud on the ground, patrician in command, sit up straighter, you can see better. One is turned in on oneself. Oh no! But wait. First, I must turn my car around, my journey around. I have missed the all-important turn to Langley. I know, because it feels like I've been in my car for as long as it takes to get back to Kansas. Everything in me are subsumed in the fog. And suddenly I take the turn and I tune in to myself. What am I doing? Finding the lines to park my car. Where am I going? Out of my car, but into myself. When is this complete? It is complete when it is complete. Funny thing about fog, allowing you to see what is inside of you, broken and whole. If in one's brokenness one finds one's wholeness, in this fog of life, where life is so thick that all we have is what is inside to give to the outside. And inside there is broken and whole, and the meaning of the two, and the connecting of the two brings us out of the fog. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful life.
Chloe Edgington with two original poems.
Excuse me. I have to leave.
Okay, so the first one is called Speak Up. I can lie to you and say that words don't have meaning, but words are just ways to express how you're feeling. Keeping it bottled up causes these issues of distrust, disputes, disgust, and disroots. The way we treat others is such a novelty, because we do it through hatred or just brutal honesty, but neither is right. No one thinks they're wrong. But the truth is forgotten, long gone. Can you look at me and say that you say what you mean? Because when you mean what you say, there's no in between. There's no left, there's no right, there's no girl, there's no boy, there's no blue, there's no red, there's no white, there's no black, there's just truth, which is gray. But make no mistake, you can never be wrong when you simply have take that. When you speak with a purpose, people will listen. And don't be afraid, because they'll share their opinions. Speak with aggression, but not too much. And most important of all, speak with intention. You'll finally scratch the surface of what it means to be free, to be fearless and fervent and formidably someone who speaks with a purpose. If you keep it all bottled and beaten and broken, you hide in the back where you think no one will notice. If you make the decision to not speak at all and just pressure yourself to silence, you'll just hit that wall where you can't make a change. You'll feel downright deranged. You won't know who you are and you'll be stuck in a cage. And just when you think that you'll crawl your way out, those words you've been hiding, that you've lived without, they'll come back to haunt you because you don't get to choose. You've used the right to silence. It's no longer defiant. So you speak with a purpose. It's impossible to hide all the deep, dark feelings that you're keeping inside. It's impossible to fake and force those smiles. It's impossible to take back the words that mean the most. You can't hide your words and you can't make them listen. You have no control, but the freedom is limitless. So speak with a purpose and do it for yourself. And do it for the people who can't speak for themselves. The next one is a bit more humorous. So you're going to have to bear with me on that. It's called a 2-hour delay. So, as I pick my head up and look on with dismay, I see that there will be no 2-hour delay. Now, I know we just had one and it seems too soon, but just give me 2 hours, I'll be over the moon. I have sleep deprivation and so much to do. I feel like I'm stuck in a pile of goo. I'm always so tired that I never can sleep. That's due to English assignments. Mrs. Churn makes me weep. I can see that she gave me that classic stink eye. I can see that I might be slightly out of line, but I really just want 2 extra hours to rest. Does Langley really want their students in distress? I know this might seem silly, but for me it's not. I'm a senior, so I tend to procrastinate a lot. No, really, I'm serious. Is it too much to ask? I mean, what are we really learning in English class?
Oh my God.
Just kidding. I love you, Mrs. Churn, I really do, but I love my sleep more, and that is unfortunate for you. I will not cease until I complete this crusade of permanently implementing the 2-hour delay. Thank you.
Next up we have Mr. Clark with a remix of Truisms by Dickinson.
She didn't know Mr. Clark is a slam poet.
No, he is not. I'm not actually reading poetry, I'm reading conceptual art. If I'm in an art museum and I see a piece by Jenny Holzer, I find it necessary to stop until I have read the entire thing. If I read the entire thing of Jenny Holzer's truisms, it would take me about 25 minutes and you all would hate me. So instead, I've reduced it by more than 2/3, and now you'll only have to hate me 1/3 as much. So instead of Jenny Holzer's truisms, you're hearing Jenny Holzer's truisms, the remix. A little knowledge can go a long way. A sincere effort is all you can ask. A strong sense of duty imprisons you. Abstraction is a type of decadence. Abuse of power comes as no surprise. Absolute submission can be a form of freedom. Alienation produces eccentrics or revolutionaries. Ambivalence can ruin your life. Anything is a legitimate area of investigation. Artificial desires are despoiling the earth. At times, inactivity is preferable to mindless functioning. Awful punishment awaits really bad people. Being alone with yourself is increasingly unpopular. Being happy is more important than anything else. Believing in rebirth is the same as admitting defeat. Chasing the new is dangerous to society. Crime against property is relatively unimportant. Decadence can be an end in itself. Decency is a relative thing. Deviants are sacrificed to increase group solidarity. Disgust is the most appropriate response to most situations. Emotional responses are as valuable as intellectual responses. Enjoy yourself, because you can't change anything anyway. Even your family can betray you. Every achievement requires a sacrifice. Exceptional people deserve special concessions. Expiring for love is beautiful, but stupid. Faithfulness is a social, not a biological law. Fake or real indifference is a powerful personal weapon. Fathers often use too much force. Fear is the greatest incapacitator. Going with the flow is soothing, but risky. Habitual contempt doesn't reflect a finer sensibility. Holding back protects your vital energies. If you can't leave your mark, give up. Inheritance must be abolished. It is a gift to the world not to have babies. It's better to be a good person than a famous person. It's better to be lonely than be with inferior people. It's crucial to have an active fantasy life. It's just an accident that your parents are your parents. It's vital to live in harmony with nature. Knowledge should be advanced at all costs. Lack of charisma can be fatal. Live simply and you won't have to worry. Low expectations are good protection. Manual labor can be refreshing and wholesome. Men are not monogamous by nature. Morals are for little people. Mostly, you should mind your own business. Mothers shouldn't make too many sacrifices. Much was decided before you were born. Noise can be hostile. Nothing upsets the balance of good and evil. Occasionally, principles are more valuable than people. People are boring unless they are extremists. People are nuts if they think they are important. People are responsible for what they do unless they are insane. People who don't work with their hands are parasites. Planning for the future is escapism. Playing it safe can cause a lot of damage in the long run. Potential counts for nothing unless it's realized. Pursuing pleasure for the sake of pleasure will ruin you. Redistributing wealth is imperative. Repetition is the best way to learn. Revolution begins with changes in the individual. Romantic love was invented to manipulate women. Routine small excesses are worse than the occasional debauch. Self-awareness can be crippling. Sin is a means of social control. Slipping into madness is good for the sake of comparison. Solitude is enriching. Sometimes things seem to happen of their own accord. Strong emotional attachment stems from basic insecurity. Stupid people shouldn't breed. Symbols are more meaningful than things themselves. Talking is used to hide one's inability to act. The cruelest disappointment is when you let yourself down. The idea of revolution is an adolescent fantasy. The most profound things are inexpressible. The new is nothing but a restatement of the old. The unattainable is invariably attractive. There's nothing redeeming in toil. Thinking too much can only cause problems. True freedom is frightful. Unquestioning love demonstrates largesse of spirit. When you dominate someone, you're doing him a favor. Wishing things away is not effective. Worrying can help you prepare. You have to hurt others to be extraordinary. You must have one grand passion. Your actions are pointless if no one notices. You are a victim of the rules you live by.
And now Elissa Jewell with Cluster.
If you add bless their hearts after their names, you can say whatever you want about them, and it's okay. My son, bless his heart, is an idiot, she said. He rents storage space for his kids' toys. They're only 1 and 3 years old. I said, my father, bless his heart, has turned into a sentimental old fool. He gets weepy when he hears my daughters reading our voicemail. Before our steak burgers came, someone blessed her office mate's heart. Then, as an afterthought, the jealous hearts of the entire anthropology department. We bestowed blessings on many a heart that day. I even blessed my ex-wife's heart. Our waiter, bless his heart, would not be getting much tip, for which no doubt he blessed our hearts. In a week, it would be Thanksgiving, and we would each sit with our respective families, counting our blessings and blessing the hearts of family members as only family does best. Oh, bless us all. Yes, bless us, and please bless us and bless our crummy little hearts.
My poem is from José Martí. It's one of the most renowned. It's one of the most renowned poems of José Martí, a Cuban, political Cuban writer of all times, and it's very, very short. I'm going to be finished before you know it. But the poem talks about the value of a friendship, and not only the value of the friendship, but also the value of demonstrating that love and pure love and sincerity to others, even to those that anonymize you. Okay, the poem is called Cultivo una rosa blanca. Cultivo una rosa blanca en junio como en enero, para el amigo sincero que me da su mano franca, y para el cuero que me arranca el corazón con que vivo. Caldo ni ortiga cultivo, cultivo una rosa blanca. Now it's just called the Lazy Scranton.
We don't want to feel confined to these podiums, so we're going to take the mic out real quick. Hope you guys hello. Oh, we're doing a spoken word rendition of Lazy Scranton. Please chime in, when you know.
Sitting in my office with a plate of grilled bacon. Called my man Dwight just to see what was shaking. Mike, our town is going pretty. So check out how we live in the electric city. They call it Scranton. The electric city. Scranton? What? The electric city. Lazy Scranton, the electric city. They call it that because of the electricity. The city's laid out from east to west, and our public parks and libraries are truly the best. Call poison control if you're bit by a spider, but check that it's covered by your healthcare provider. You lack coal mines and you want to see them. Well, check it out, yo, the Anthracite Museum. Plenty of space in the parking lot, but the little cars go in the compact spots. Snack attack time. Don't lose your head. We like Cuginos for the tasty bread. They call it Scranton. What? The electric city. Scranton. What? The electric city. Scranton. What? The electric city. Thank you.
And now it's Mr. Awards with Living in Numbers.
Come.
Round of applause for Mr. O'Rourke. Get close. Get close.
Keep going. This is what some might refer to as very on brand for me. This is called Living in Numbers. It's by Claire Lee. I found it on the internet. What? Hi.
Go.
Give his turn. So just a little explanation about this. Life can be, mysterious and hard to understand at times. There's a kind of beauty reducing it to the accumulation of numbers over time, which is what this is. So here we go. Here's Living in Numbers by Claire Lee. Sunday, August 22nd, 2010. Number of times I've woken up after oversleeping and sprung out of bed like a ninja, 959. Number of broken bones, 3. Number of scars, physical, 4. Emotional, 947. Number of funerals attended, 7. Number of friends, Facebook, 744. Real, 9. Number of cavities filled, 0. Percentage of people I can stand in the world, 3.5. Number of times I've laughed so hard my sides would bruise, 2,972. Number of times I've wanted to bawl my eyes out, 320. Number of things I regret, 11. Number of things I know, 918,394. Monday, August 23rd, 2010. That's the next day. Number of times I've woken up after oversleeping and sprung out of bed like a ninja, 960. Number of broken bones, still 3. Number of scars, physical, 4. Emotional, 1,293. Number of funerals attended, 7. Number of friends, Facebook, 800. Real, 7. Number of cavities filled, 0. Percentage of people I can stand in the world, 3.4. Number of times I've laughed so hard my sides would bruise, 2,973. Number of times I've wanted to bawl my eyes out, 321. Number of things I regret, 13. Number of things I know, 918,390.
This is a poem by Emily Dickinson. I'll tell you how the sun rose, a ribbon at a time. The steeple swam in amethyst. The news like squirrels ran. The hills untied their bonnets, the bobolinks begun. Then I said softly to myself, that must have been the sun. But how he set, I know not. There seemed a purple style, which little yellow boys and girls were climbing all the while. Till when they reached the other side, a dominie in gray put gently up the evening bars and led the flock away.
West and Sam Zmuda and
All right, so we're reading Iskúšnej. What? We're reading Skúchno и грустно by Mackaye Lermontov.
Which is in English?
If you can't tell, it's Russian. And I know the vast majority of the people in here won't understand a single word, but just pretend you do. И скучно, и грустно, и некому руку подать минуту душевной незгоды.
Желание, чтоб ползай напрасно и вечно жила, а годы проходят все лучший год.
Любить, ну кого-же, на время не стоит труда, а вечно любить невозможно.
За себя ли заглянешь, там прошлого нет и следа, и радость, и муки, и все там ничтожно.
Что страсть? Ведь рано или поздно и сладкий недуг исчезнет при слове рассудка.
И жизнь, как посмотришь с холодным вниманием вокруг, такая пустая и глупая шутка.
Молодцы! Okay, so Mr. Monty took notes about it. So if you know Mackaye Lermontov, he's not the happiest guy. He died in a duel when he was 27. And it means boring and sad, and he's referring to life as itself.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing you don't know what it means.
And now we have Lizzy Gersony with 2 original poems.
Okay, so
is called Not Having. What? What were you? I make more choices. Okay. You're getting sick of me again. My forked tongue, my burning eyes. A nightmare, or a vision maybe, of Beth and you. Chase me outside and tell me who I am. I'll hold you like liquor, hot breath and pressure, closer than comfort. Unfold your skin and dig into mine. Spike my veins with sugar water and slice me into rings. Sickly sweet, a prophecy in flesh. Alright, that's my emo one. Okay, this one's called Lilith. Alright. Womanhood is a floating dagger. It is a double-edged sword. It's the pins and needles between my ears, and the nettles tucked behind them. And I wonder if you feel it, too. Unicycles pray to a strange creature. They leave offerings on your doorstep that were never really theirs for years. A ribcage, a paper heart. You must be tucked away somewhere in the sick and holy emptiness, a space so hollow you can hear it aching. I wonder if they could smell the fear you rub between your wrists. Pungent like black coffee, sticky like blood. Who do our bodies belong to? Trust is the closest thing we're allowed to a fantasy. I'll show you my shame if you'll show me yours. Your capsized lungs, the anger you hide behind your teeth. At night, I coax you out from under my bed. Your pulse spells out poetry in languages I understand better than I can speak. I'm done.
And now, Treacy.
Hi.
You here?
Thank you. I'm reading You Are Not Your Age by Erin Hansen. You are not your age, nor the size of the clothes you wear. You are not a weight or the color of your hair. You are not your name or the dimples in your cheeks. You are all the books you read and all the words you speak. You are your croaking morning voice and the smiles you try to hide. You are the sweetness in your laughter and every tear you cry. You are the songs you sing so loudly when you know you're all alone. You're the places that you've been to and the one that you call home. You're the things that you believe in and the people that you love. You're the photos in your bedroom and the future you dream of. You're made of so much beauty, but it seems that you forgot when you decided that you were defined by all the things you're not.
Thank you.
Now, Grace Affleck with We Lived Happily During the War. Woo! Okay, so when I first found this poem, I thought that it was written in during World War II, but I looked it up and apparently it was 2013. So, it's called We Lived Happily During the War by Elissa. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed, around my bed. America was falling. Invisible house by invisible house by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous reign, in the house of money, in the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money. Forgive us, forgive us, lived happily during the war. Now, Terri, who tell you to be small? Right.
Who taught you to be small? Who taught you these cracks were flaws? Taught you that light couldn't shine through the cracks and scars? Who told you to accept what you were given and did not want? Told you that any love was better than searching for the one made for yourself, the one that's always been inside of yourself. Do not listen to them. Their mouths are full of turpentine and cyanide. They'll strip you of all the gold of your feathered limbs and leave you unraveled, all pockmarked, pig-skinned, and alabaster bone. You are not made to be grounded. You need the crisp air, a belly full of laughter, and a heart carrying so much love that you feel the seams stretching. Mostly, you need to realize that one by one, out of the population that has swelled to billions, but even that you were hand-selected, all beauty and flaws, to never be replaced, replicated. You are the finest art that has ever been created.
Now, Colin Toole's haikus.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, go!
Baked, brown, and yellow. Flavor-filled, mouth-watering. Potato, all mine. Oh, beloved starch, fill my mouth with your flavor. I will fill with your warmth. It's too hot. Perhaps the fridge couldn't hurt. Burn my mouth, 'twill not. What is this I see? A fresh block of cheddar cheese, spreading with tea. Oh, the time has come. The wait has been far too long. Any last remarks? This is the part where I eat the potato. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, 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 yum. Ah, bellissimo. That was delicious. But my appetite remains. I'll have another. Thank you.
Now, do not go gentle into that.
Do not go gentle to thy good night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle to thy good night. Old age should burn and rave at the close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked their lightning, they do not go gentle to thy good night. Good men, the last wave, crying how bright, their frail deeds might not dance in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sudden flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle to thy good night. Brave men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blade like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle to thy good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Here.
Now we are, so just some quick reminders, before you leave, we're not leaving yet, but before you leave, make sure to scan the QR codes. That is how we're going to get attendance. And now presents the open mic portion of the event. So is there anybody who is...
Go guys, this is it.
Yeah, if you'd like to do open mic, line up over here.
There are some 4 o'clock people. There's some people I promised at 4 o'clock who are the crew team, et cetera, need may go. Anyone who had a sporting event. Okay, open mic is the fun part. So please, let's make sure before we begin, okay? That they're people I promised because of sporting events, all right? Give us a moment, please. All right, everybody who is staying, I'd like to see a round of applause, please. A round of applause.
Okay. I wrote a short poem on the grave. Weight lifted off your shoulders, blinding sun's rays hit your face. Crisp morning air shifts shoulders, saccharine sweet bumblebee honey taste. All gradually reviving back to life. The jolt of shock that springs you back onto your feet. Groundhog pops up from burrows still at strike. The gap in your everyday staying now complete. I'm your mom's son. Trust no kings, kings put girls in power. Test your wings for girls with wings. Will soar past kings as kings launch out from power.
Hello. Okay, my name is Aya, and I'm going to read this poem I really like, and it's called The True Meaning of Life. And this is like an author's note. Her name's Patricia Fleming, and she said that she wrote this poem because she's been through hard times in life, and she's struggled to find peace and an understanding of what life is really about. And she believes that age has everything to do with finally knowing what life is really about. It makes who we are and not what we have. So this is a poem. It's called The True Meaning of Life. The years have passed in the blink of an eye. Moments of sadness and joy have flown by. People I love have come and gone, but the world never stopped and we all carried on. Life wasn't easy and the struggles were there, filled with times that it mattered, times that I just didn't care. I stood on my own and I still found my way through some nights filled with tears and the dawn of new days. Now with old age, it's become very clear things I once found important were not why I was here. And how many things that I managed to buy were never what made me feel better inside. And the worries and fears that plagued me each day, in the end of it all, would just fade away. But how much I reached out to others when needed would be the true measure of how I succeeded. And how much I shared of my soul and my heart would ultimately be what set me apart. And what's really important is my opinion of me and whether or not I can do the best I can do.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Diane.
Nice and loud again. Thank you. I want to hear you. You can hear me.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Diane. I study Japanese, so I'm going to read 2 Japanese haikus, so traditional haikus for you guys. I'll translate it, don't worry. But they're nice, simple poems, and they're kind of relating to romance, so they're really sweet. We already heard English haiku that were really nice, classic Japanese haiku by master poets. So the first one is by a guy named Etsuji Ochi, and he is a poet from the year 1656. So this is, I'll start. So, Urayamashi omoshitsuki toki neko no koi. And it means, it's enviable, the gracefulness of a cat's love. And the second one I will do is by a poet named Otakasho, and he wrote this poem in 1977. 会うことも大切の一つ、確証。So it means meeting is one of the accidents, the sunshine at the beginning of the summer. That's it.
Oh no.
Thanks, dude.
I'm Thomas. I'm Noah. So we're going to bring it back a bit. All right. I'm going to give you some Dr. Seuss. This one is something called One Fish, Two Fish. Red Fish, Blue Fish. All right? One fish, two fish. Red fish, blue fish.
Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish.
Now this one has a little star. This one has a little car.
Say, what a lot of fish there are.
Yes, some are red and some are blue.
Some are old and some are new.
Some are sad and some are glad.
And some are very, very bad.
Why are they sad and glad and bad?
I do not know. Go ask your dad.
Now some are thin and some are fat. The fat one has a yellow hat.
From there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere.
Who likes to run? They run for fun in the hot, hot sun.
Oh me, oh my.
Oh me, oh my!
What a lot of funny things go by.
Some have 2 feet and some have 4.
Some have 6 feet and some have more.
Where do they come from? I can't say.
But I bet they came a long, long way. We see them come, we see them go. Some are fast and some are slow.
Now some are high and some are low. Not one of them is like the other. Don't ask us why.
Go ask your mother.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish.
Now this one has a little star.
And this one has a little car.
Said, what a lot of fish there are.
Alright, this one's not going to be funny or anything. Definitely not as good as my brother's. Some of you might know, who this is. This is actually a song by Roger Waters. I know Colin knows who it is. It was Pink Floyd. This is at the end of their album called The Wall. Basically, that's a metaphor for shutting out everyone and everything and just doing drugs and TV all the time. This is called Outside the Wall. All alone or in twos, the ones who really love you walk up and down outside the wall. Some hand in hand and some gathered together in bands. The bleeding hearts and the artists take their stand. I forgot. And after they've given their all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy banging your head against some mad bugger's wall.
I wrote a short poem by E. Cummings. It's like about love and it's really short. But his love isn't flesh. It floats through space and disappears. A dream, I'm lost, not found. Can't feel the sun, can't hear the birds.
Okay.
Just lower the mic.
My poem is called, I didn't write it, but it's called Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shades, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
My poem is by Jewell.
Okay, it's called Where the Sidewalk Ends. There's a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the streets begin. And there the grass grows soft and white. And there the sun burns crimson brightly. And there the moonbirds rest on the sleigh, the cool and the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke flows black, and the dark street winds, and where the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children, they mark, and the children, they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. Thank you.
There's a voice inside of you that whispers all day long. I feel that it is right for me. I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that's inside.
Thank you.
This is not something that happened during a million years, but Mr. is asking and I don't want to make this happen.
Can't say that a minute.
One was called My Chinese by Terri Hsu. A lot of people will relate to it, but if you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will tell you that my Chinese is a ghost lodged in my throat, a dried up flower tore from the ground long ago, rootless. My Chinese wears red dragons and silk tea tall, dressed in pearls and jade earrings. My Chinese is red, my Chinese is gold, my Chinese is something I must hide. My Chinese is a racist joke I threw in the garbage, stained with a napkin, stained with my culture, made a sound as it hit the bottom. Chink. Chink is in weakness in armor, chink is in crevice, gap, hole, chink is in the slits we call our eyes. My Chinese remembers Yellow Pearl hysteria, Chinese Exclusion Act, remembers alienation, remembers otherization, remembers being banned from this land, being treated as everything but human, remembers the clanking of metals to railroads as immigrants built train tracks to connect this country. My Chinese remembers. My Chinese forgets. If you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will tell you that my Chinese doesn't think it belongs here sometimes. Sometimes my Chinese is angry. My Chinese wonders why it is beautiful, only if it is white enough. My Chinese wonders if it is white enough. My Chinese wonders why it is minority only when it is convenient. Wonders why the massacres, mass expulsions, and near genocidal policies are missing from the history textbooks. My Chinese wants you to know that it is not invisible. But even I forget sometimes. My Chinese sells for less than what it's worth sometimes. If you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will tell you that my Chinese sits in the back of class, knows the answers, and does not retain. If you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will take you to the grave where my Chinese lives. On the tombstone it says, here lie decomposing words, here lie broken skeletons and broken sentences. Here lie rotting corpses and rotting cultures. Here lie the missing limbs of history. Here in memory. Here. Take the shovel and dig me.
This poem is called Don't Quit by John Newman. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems volatile, when funds are low and debts are high, when you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though, the pace seems slow.
you may succeed with another blow. So stick to your fight with your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit.
Hi, I'm Isla. I'm reading Too Much by Tyler Ford. It's been my favorite poem for like 6 or 7 years. Do you remember the first time you were called annoying? How your breath stopped short in your chest? The way the light drained from your eyes, though you knew your cheeks were ablaze? The way your throat tightened as you tried to form an argument that got lost on your tongue? Your eyes never left that floor that day. You were 13. You're 20 now, and I still see the light fade from your eyes when you talk about your interests for too long. Apologies littering every other sentence, words trailing off a cliff you haven't jumped from in 7 years. I could listen to you forever, though I know speaking for more than 3 uninterrupted minutes makes you anxious. All I want you to know is that you deserve to be heard. For 3 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 2 hours, forever. There will be people who cannot handle your grace, your beauty, your wisdom, your heart, mostly because they can't handle their own. But you will never be, and have never been, too much.
So it seems like Shel Silverstein is kind of a popular pick today. So we're going to go for a French poem. I've never read this out loud before, so don't judge my French. I'm going to do my best. Alright, the poem is called Le Soleil, which is the sun. Le long du vieux faubourg, au pendant aux mesures, les persiennes abritent de secrètes luxueuses. Quand le soleil creux frappait à traits redoublés, sur la vie et les champs, sur les toits et les tables, je vais m'exercer seul à ma fantastique esprit, flairant dans tous les coins les hasards de la vie. Trébuchant sur les mots, comme sur les pavés, heurtant parfois des vers depuis en temple. Sa paire nourricière, ennemie des chloroses, et vit dans les champs, les vers comme les roses. Il fait s'évaporer les sourcils vers le ciel, et remplit les cerveaux et les bouches de miel. C'est lui qui rajeunit les porteurs de béquilles, et les rend gais et doux comme des jeunes filles, et comparable aux moissons de 3/4 de mûrir. Dans le cœur immortel, qui toujours vert fleurit, comme ainsi qu'un poète, il descend dans les vies. Il énoblit le sort des choses les plus justes, et s'introduit en droit, sans bruit et sans valet, dans tous les hôpitaux et dans tous les palais.
Any last minute mics? No?
Okay, so I just want to thank you guys so much for coming out and saying poems for us. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable in front of a lot of people that you know, so we really respect and admire you all for that. And I also wanted to thank Eliza Seigel, because Eliza has worked so hard, and she is the best.